You've got a ton of questions. I've got a ton of kit to label and organize. So what I'm going to do is firstly show you how we organize and label kit and why. I'm going to answer your questions whilst I'm doing it, because what a great use of time, because there's literally nothing else I can do whilst doing this. So we're going to tackle things like gear, money, why we don't share certain things, the commercial side of work, whether I'm now more YouTube than photography, all of those questions we're going to cover. But first we're going to label everything. Now things need labeling for many, many reasons. One is because this big black box here, you have no idea what's in it. Neither does anybody assisting me. So we've got a bit of white tape, stick it on there, and we're going to write Bron S pack. So when you see it, you know what's in there. The other reason for labeling kit is the next one we're going to do. Oh, that's heavy. I have a few of these, they're all identical. So again, small bit of white tape. This one is going to be pack number 1. Probably half that. There we go. So, this way, if we have a problem with one pack, we don't have to try to remember which one it is because it says on it, pack number 1. This might seem a bit overkill at this point, but in 8 years' time, when I'm still using this, it suddenly makes a lot more sense. So, in this one goes into its case. And we now know we've got a Bron Scoro pack. When we get the pack out, we know it's pack number 1. Let's put its little foam bouncer in there. Stops it rattling. There we go. That's labelling. So the questions. Why won't you take us behind the scenes on a commercial job? There's a few reasons for this. First and foremost, getting a film crew to come on a job to show you. One, it's expensive. Say it's going to cost me probably £2,000 to get a film crew in, because I can't film it, I'm shooting. Then I've got to get every client member and every crew member and every agency member to sign model release forms to allow me to show them on video. That's never going to happen. So there'll be a few people who go, no, I don't want that. The biggest issue is it interferes with my shoot. I don't want anything interfering with my job. They pay me huge sums of money to do it perfectly. Sometimes we do a little behind the scenes time lapse on a small job. We share those, mostly on Patreon. I do a bit of voiceover now and again. But we're certainly not in a position to be filming on a commercial shoot to share with you. The other thing is, the way that I light commercially, I don't want to share that. That's my recipe. Yes, there's a lot of stuff I do share, and I share a lot of how-tos, but what makes me be able to do a 6-figure shoot, we don't share it for free. That is part of the crux of the matter. So that's why we don't share commercial work. Add to that the fact that not only do I not want to share how I did it, my clients don't want their competitors knowing how I did it, because then they can copy them. And again, they're paying huge sums of money to have what I do done for their brand. They don't want every Tom, Dick and Harry getting the same sort of work that they get just because they watched a YouTube video. Uni-light heads. So that's that. That's why we don't share that. The next question we get asked a lot of is, why have you moved to Fuji And was it worth it? Was it worth it? No, the camera's awful. The image quality is brilliant, the camera's awful. It's just one of those things where they just don't have any usability involved at all. And the reason I moved for it is because it didn't cost me anything. I traded in some old kit that I didn't use for a new one. Oh. Well, this is chaos. So no, I don't... I've definitely not changed my mind on mirrorless. That's for sure. I hate the mirrorless viewfinder. It is perhaps one of the worst photography movements ever. And it's just horrific. I just absolutely hate it. Number 3. And this one here would be number 4. So yeah, I am not happy with the upgrade at all. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. The problem being, the image quality is so much better than Canon's. So much better. And the usability in the edit is just so much higher. So because of that, I might keep it, but we'll still rent a phase for a big job. Now, a very common question is, do I make more money doing this than I do with photography? Not yet, not yet. But I think, and this wasn't my opinion before, but it is now, I think I could make more money doing this than photography, but not whilst I'm still doing photography. I'd have to stop photography. There was a period where I was between agents earlier this year, and I did YouTube full-time for a month because I had nothing else to do. And I was shocked at how much money can be made. Unfortunately, I would have to stop doing photography to do that and fully commit to YouTube. I don't want to do that. I like the balance at the moment. I think I could make a bit more money doing this than I currently do if I was a bit smart about it. But I'm not really interested. It doesn't interest me to do that. I'm quite happy with the way this works at the moment. It's a good little setup. I like it. Many others probably don't, but I do. And I think part of the appeal for me doing this is that I am a photographer. I don't think if I was just a hobbyist who once worked as a pro, I don't think you'd be as interested in listening to what I say compared to if I'm still a working pro. I know a lot of people who've been working pros a bit and then gone to YouTube. That's fine, I've got no qualm with that. But I think for me, I love being a photographer too much. It's too much what I want to do. I can't see myself changing that. Got an iPad down here with the questions on. Do I think photography is doomed? No, and there's a good reason for this. I have been a photographer for 15 years, and throughout those 15 years, at any given point, there has been a reason as to why photography is doomed, and at every given point, it's carried on. You know, we can now take photographs. Sure, we can do CAD drawings, we can do renders, we can do whatever, but people still want photography. People still commission film shoots for adverts. There's no reason to shoot film, but they like it. They want to see the film look. That's what they want from their photography or from their commission. That's pleasing. Also, this modifier here is wicked. I wish I'd still make stuff like this. It's a zoomable, what do you call these? Reflector. So you can go from like one particular degree. There we go. So yes, this is a zoomable reflector. It goes from 60-degree reflector to 90-degree, and you just tighten it in where you want it. Very useful if you don't want to change modifiers. So this one lives permanently out on a light stand in here. This is just the ready to go. Much like the one back there on the hazy. There it is. Whoop. Over there. That just lives in the hazy. I don't want to be taking them in and out every time. But that's good. Do I think I will change my style of work when it's not in fashion anymore? That's a really good question. And I'd answer it like this. When I was into a particular style of clothing, it was in fashion. Now, it wasn't perhaps the main fashion of clothing, but, you know, I liked a particular style. Nowadays, I like a different style. I would imagine in 10 years' time, the clothes I like today, I won't like then. Same with haircuts. You know, I like what I like right now. I liked it before it was in fashion, but it will change, it will evolve, it will adapt. I will be very sad if I'm taking the same photographs in 20 years' time that I'm taking today. I would like to hope there'd be some sort of progression, some sort of, you know, just moving with the times. I will learn more. And I'm not talking about photography learning more, I'm talking about learning more about life. I will see the world in a different way. However, if I still see the world in the same way, it'll still look like it does today. If it goes out of fashion and I don't change, so be it. I like to create what I like to create. That's what people book me for. There's still adverts that are old-fashioned and out of date going out today, and those photographers still get commissions if they've worked that way their whole lives. So I don't worry about it too much. I've boxed myself in. Now I've got to move this anyway. Let's talk about this. Is this camera something you need to be a still life photographer? No, but it lets me create my style of work the way I like to create it. So for me, I couldn't do my job without one of these. And for those who don't know, this is a Cambo Actus MV. It's made in the Netherlands. It's always nice when it's not a made in China job, isn't it? Let's turn that off to save some battery. Is Broncolor a complete waste of money? It's so much more expensive than Godox. Is it that much better? Well, yes and no. I've got to label this one up here. Is 16-bit colour of any use whatsoever to me? A lot of people are asking this. There's a lot of misunderstanding about colour bit depth. So you can't export or print a 16-bit colour image, which is why people are like, you don't need 16-bit colour. You don't need it, you can't see it. You know, that is true. You can't see 16-bit colour in a final image. You can't print 16-bit colour. It's not an option. You just can't do it. But you can edit in 16-bit, and that allows you to select colours which don't exist in 14-bit. And when you do compress it, you lose some of it. But if you didn't have it in the first place, you couldn't even worry about losing it. I've noticed the colours are considerably better. You don't get banding, you get better gradation, you get better colour accuracy. Yes, when you export it, it has to be compressed. But a compressed 16-bit is better than a 14-bit not being compressed, considerably. And also, look, my battery's exploded. That's for the bin. This is why we do this. An assistant wouldn't notice that on a job. We might have like a small battery fire going on. So yeah, 16-bit colour, definitely worth it. Now here's the real killer question. With my new camera, which didn't cost me anything, so it's a difficult one to answer, but with my new Fuji, is it, say it cost me £4,000 for example, will I make more money on that? And the resounding answer is no. I won't make any more money, and I know that because we've got 3 jobs on the go at the moment, and we're charging the same that we would have charged last year. And we're probably not going to use the Fuji anyway, because we'll use a phase for 2 of them, and the other one we're going to shoot it on a Nikon for many, many dirty reasons. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are fully charged. These have come off the chargers. So yeah, not really planning on using it for work. We're using it this Friday on a test shoot. It'll be interesting. I'm not sold on it, and I'm not sold on it. You may see me sell it soon and get rid of it, go back to Canon 5DSRs. I don't know. Sure, I love having the better colour depth, The higher resolution is absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's one of those things that you just go, I didn't know I needed it until I needed it. Now, 100 megapixels is not double 50 megapixels because it's across two axes. So it's not like I've doubled my resolution, but when you zoom in, oh, it's brilliant. So when you're doing like pixel by pixel editing, masking, cutting, anything, it's just brilliant. 9, see I can't multitask, 10, 11. Look at that, all nicely organised. So 9, 10, 11 back to the chargers, these here to the back. So yeah, it's a good camera. I'm not gonna make any more money. My images aren't any better. I can see things in my images that are better technically than they were before, but it doesn't make the photograph better. Having a technically better image doesn't make you a better photographer. Let's get rid of these. Don't worry, I'm not numbering these. These all need a piece of yellow tape on because whenever we do shoot, we rent more of these if we're here. And it's so easy to lose them and send the wrong ones back. And if you send the wrong one back, the rental house gets really funny and they charge you for it, even though it's the same thing. It's just a little spot of yellow tape. And I know someone's going to be going, won't you see it in the reflections of the images? Yeah, sometimes. Oh, that one's already done, look. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. It doesn't really matter. It's a quick clone out, or if you can see it, you just rotate this inside the head. They work really well like that. I can't remember what these are called. They're either P65s, P70s. There's two different types. These are big, those are small. They're both good. They do different things. This is softer and specular compared to this from the same distance. So sometimes if you don't want the light to be too hard, you'll use this. If you want it to be much harder, you'll use this. But if you want it to be really hard, I've got a new modifier being made at the moment at Broncolor. Apparently it arrives early March. So look out for the sharpest shadow you've ever seen. I've never had to wait so long for anything. I ordered it before Christmas, but they've got to make it because they don't keep them. They make them as they sell them, I guess. So very exciting. Got that from AJs. AJs is a wicked pro camera store in London, I assume. I only ever deal with them on the phone. Really friendly, really nice. You phone them up, you go, this is my problem. They go, here's your solution. There's some great camera stores in the UK. There's Teamwork Images, Teamwork Photos, isn't it called? They're really good. Guy there knows everything about everything to do with pro photography. AJs, there's Flash Centre. I use the Birmingham one because it's nearby, obviously. Great, you phone them up and go, well, with my triggers, I was like, I need triggers to do this. This is my requirement. What will do it? These ones will do it. Brilliant. Ping them over. There we go. So we've got 5 big ones, 4 small ones. Perfect. This here is my box of, what are they called? Not filters. For these things. Grids. Grids don't make harder light necessarily. There's a bit of a confusion here. These are so expensive. Like a set of 3 of these, they're like £100 each for Broncolor. This is painful, but they do last, oh, that one's a bit broken, broke one. They do last forever. Now, I'm not gonna label all of these, I just want to show you. Bit of show and tell. These are the big ones. I use these the most. These are super tight grids. Like barely any light comes through these. I set fire to one every single year. But again, from the outside on this box, you'd never know it was grids in here. So we need a label. Because otherwise, how will my poor assistant find anything? And part of the reason I'm having to do this at the moment, you might be thinking, why have you left it so long to label everything, Scott? You've been in the studio since 2016. This is all new kit. So it all needs new labels. So I'll put a nice big label on here. We'll call it Broncolor Grids. There we go, perfect. There we go, broncolor grids, all nice. Now, another question I had, which I get asked quite a lot, but I don't think it'd make a good YouTube video. How do I balance my work-life bonanza? And the honest answer is, I don't. I mess it up on a regular basis. I work insane hours or no hours. So today's YouTube day, kind of. It's not really YouTube day. It's actually, what day are we on? Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. I've got nothing on, so I'm doing YouTube stuff because it's a good use of time. YouTube day this month is this Saturday. This is when I'm in here filming non-stop with all the practical videos and all the talking head videos. We've filmed a lot of them, but I struggle to flit between jobs. So I've just had a call with my agent. We've been discussing a couple of jobs, and now I'm doing YouTube stuff, but I can only manage to mentally jump onto this because I'm doing studio stuff and today's a studio day. The problem happens like this. I will have a dead day like today. Normally I'll procrastinate quite a lot. And then I'll be really busy on Saturday doing YouTube videos. Sunday, I'm spending it with the kids. Monday, we're straight into shooting again. And Friday, we're shooting as well. So we've got like Friday, Saturday, Sunday day off, Monday, Tuesday, and it's just busy. And then I'll have a crash and burn, and I'll be ill for 2 days, because that always happens after a busy batch. And then I'll come in, I've got 7,000 unread emails. So I'm working on all the emails, organising the staff, paying invoice. It's a nightmare. It's more than a full-time job. I think most weeks I do about 70 to 75 hours a week. On shoot weeks, it's much more. Sometimes I've got overnight deliveries and rushes and things like that. And I'm sat down with my retoucher in here because I like to micromanage everything. So my work-life balance is awful. But on the flip side, I just took 4 weeks off over Christmas and spent it with the family. Went to see my family in Spain. You know, spent it with the kids, played games, played Roblox on iPads. I don't know, but played that. You cannot have a balanced life and be a professional photographer. What you can do is push and pull the balance. Sometimes I have to focus on my family and my relationships and all the rest of it. Other times I have to focus on my career. The mistake I've often made is just focusing on my career. It's easy to quantify money coming in. It's easy to quantify work. It's very difficult to quantify quality family time. And what you'll notice in all of this, rest and relaxation just doesn't happen. And that's because I don't enjoy it. I don't like sitting on a beach doing nothing. I like going somewhere to do something. I like to be busy all the time or be asleep. You know, I'm regularly asleep in the studio. I'll have a 20-minute or 1 hour disco nap most days. Unless clients here, 'cause that's really awkward, but there's no balance. There is no balance. It's a nightmare. But that's life, you know. I wouldn't swap this job for anything in the world. Because on the flip side, if one of our kids wins Star of the Week, I can just go down to the school and go and watch them in assembly at 2 p.m. If they're sick and they need picking up from school, I'm there in 5 minutes. Whereas if I had a 9 to 5 job and they were sick, they'd have to wait for me to finish or for me to find someone to cover for me or whatever, you know, ridiculousness it might be. It's not as simple, it's not as straightforward, it's not as easy. Whereas this, it gives you flexibility apart from when it doesn't. When you're in London for 2 weeks shooting non-stop, you can't get there. And we rely on Zoom calls and video calls and stuff, you know. So it's a difficult one. There's no good answer. This light stand's making me claustrophobic. Also, this light stand's wicked, look at this. Oh yeah. Always wanted one of these, and now I've got one. You know you've made it when you've got a crank arm light stand. That's a baller move right there. Let's get rid of this big thing. Let's get it in here. And like you see, one light always out, one pack always out, everything else locked away in safes. Very securely stowed. Now, as well as this, I've also got, whilst we're just doing show and tell around the studio, backup lights. Broncolor quad packs, I've got 4 heads. You know, this light up here, this is one of my favourite modifiers. This is the soft lighter. It's on a Bowen's Creo head. Back here we've got a Fresnel on a Bowen's Creo head, and the big black box got a few more ones. This flash pack's done 150,000 actuations. One day it's going to pop and stop, but it's all right for now. I've got it for next to nothing. It's good. I like using the lights. The quality of light isn't as good by any stretch of the imagination as Broncolor. This is more Godox quality light. but it's the 3000 dual pack. It's wicked. Puts out a lot, and it makes a real big bang when you fire it. People know you fired this one, whereas the broncolor ones are all nice and polite. Just picked up 6 new super clamps. I'm sure it was more than that. Have I lost a few? Have some gone MIA? No, I just already labelled some of them. That's good. That's me being organised. So YouTube questions. Why do I use clickbait titles? Well, it's a bit of a funny one, really. Clickbait means that the video has nothing to do with the title. I don't think I do that, but I do use highly clickable titles. If I don't use the format of video title that I use, nobody sees the video. And if no one sees the video, I stop making them because I can't afford to do it for free. So there's a financial element to it, which no one really likes to talk about. No one likes to admit that we get paid for YouTube. It's like a real taboo subject. It's like we should all be doing it for free. But like, this is going to take me ages to edit. I've been rambling for so long. So that's it. People click on them. Same way I had a comment recently which I responded to. Why are all your video titles negative? If you have a negative word in the title, the amount of views you get are insane. Whereas if you phrase it positively, people like negative things. It's depressing, but it's true. I have no idea what I'm going to title this video though, so that'll be interesting because this is a whole new format. I don't even know if it works or not, but it's kind of like a podcast, I guess, whilst I do busy work. But yeah, that's why we do that. You know, it's just the way the world works. You've got to play the game. You've got to be in it to win it. And if anything, I kind of enjoy it. There's like a certain... In photography, you create an image and you go, it's good, it's not good. It's very hard to give it a score. But on YouTube, you create a title and a thumbnail, which is the most important element to a video being successful, and you literally get a real-time score. It's like, this video is doing they give you a 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 as to how it's performing compared to recent videos. So you put the title in. If the title flops and it goes straight to 10 out of 10, you change the title instantly, you wait half an hour, change the thumbnail, and see which one has the biggest impact, and then whichever one had the biggest impact you leave, and then you start fiddling with the other ones. So you'll often see titles changing, thumbnails changing. That's really common. Every channel does it. It's how we make sure we've got the right title, because what you don't want to do, if you do use what is actually clickbait, and you have a title and a thumbnail which have nothing to do with the video, people click on it and click off it, and a view only counts if they make it past 30 seconds. So clickbait is completely useless. What you're hoping to do is pique somebody's interest and go, why is this the wrong thing to do? Why is this bad? And yeah, that's why the titles work the way the titles work. It's just one of those things, you know. You've got to keep it going. Now, the elephant in the room. Have I had a hair transplant? I've had a couple of people message me saying, have you had a hair transplant? No, my hair grew back. It fell out. I went completely bald. I assume it was stress related. I still got a bit of a bald patch on the one side, but it's growing back now as well. So yeah, too much stress, hair fell out. Will I shave my head again? Most definitely. Next time my hair falls out, which I'm sure will happen again one day, I'll shave it all off. But for now, got a little bit on top, not much, but I quite like it. It's nice to have hair again. But I also miss having a shaved head. It's a very clean feeling. But there we go. Not had a hair transplant. I've got no miracle cures for fellow people who lost their hair. It just, I went on holiday, relaxed a bit, and it grew back, which tells you everything you need to know about my stress levels. Let's get rid of these. All right, last thing I need to do, ready for Friday, is set up my Tether Station, which is this. So this is where my iPad goes. So Dave can see all the way back here. Back here we have one iPad powered off the machine. This is my Tether Station. This controls my broncolor lighting and my broncolor lighting only. This one here is linked up to Capture Pilot, and it lets me see the images, you know, all that good stuff really. But we dismantled it because we had to use the stands elsewhere on location at the end of last year. There we go, there's this bit. There we are. So, we need battery power And we need a Robocup, of course. So I've got my little Arwec bottle. This was given to me by a production company where we shot at their studio last year. Lovely people. This goes down here. I'm going to have to put it on the table, aren't we, for you to see. There we go. Let's lower this down now. So we've got the bottles down here for my drinks. My iPad goes on top, which you can't quite see from there, which is annoying, but we'll work with it. But what we need now is power. So we're going to get a power source on here. It's going to be powering my iPad. Let's get on to that. So over here, this is my trolley of many things for assisting. Oh, and as I'd hoped, I've got a D-tap in here. I've got a USB power cable over here. We're going to need spigots and super clamps. Here's the super clamp. What's this going to screw in? 1/4" thread. There we go. So, and we're going to need a USB battery. Again, labelled and numbered. We did this one with the nice labeler because we had more time back then. Got D-tap battery, D-tap cold shoe, super clamp, and a spigot. So the spigot goes in here. Tighten that up. There we go. This screws into this. It's got like a Swiss cheese thing on the back. So anything, anyhow, anywhere. There we go. And then this goes onto here. Like so. iPad up top. There goes the battery. Put the cable in. The USB down here. There we go. And this will let me run my Capture Pilot on here all day. So don't have to worry about charging or any of that nonsense. Charge it up overnight so it's ready to go. Plug it in here. And now I don't have to harass my Digitech. Plug that onto there with a nice little tether lead. There's a little like bungee cord there that's holding the cable in nicely so I don't trip over it. Just tighten that up nice and level. Lower that down. So now, when I want to move around, I can pick up the whole stand. I've got everything, drinks, battery, and iPad. And usually halfway through the day, the iPad stops getting charged, and my phone ends up being plugged in on this. But it's a good little setup. And it certainly keeps me happy, keeps the Digitech happy, because you know, they're well away from me, I'm well away from them. Don't have to harass each other too much. Let's just log into that. Perfect. All exactly how we'd want it. So yeah, it's a little tether station. And there we go, we're ready for Friday now. Friday is a test shoot. We're shooting some sort of like generic products that create bubbles, not drinks, like soapy stuff. Just want to try a few things out, want to play with a few things. It'll be myself, a Digitech I use often called Bav. I'm hoping to find an extra pair of hands to assist me, and then my agent Karen is coming down to help with sort of like art direction, and to make sure we're doing something which will, one, look good, but two, have commercial viability, because taking pretty pictures alone will not pay the bills. Anyway, let me know if you enjoyed this format. It's a long one. Let me know. See you soon. Bye-bye.